Hey everyone, I just got my hands on the Pocket 2, a Manifold Tech's latest SLAM LiDAR scanner. They are a robotic company based in Hong Kong, and they sent it over for me to review. Just like the other LiDAR scanners I have reviewed, this one also runs on the Livebox Mid 360 sensors. Inside the box you get the LiDAR unit itself, plus the battery grip, a phone mount, and a USB-C cable. There isn't much info about Manifold Tech online, but I did come across a YouTube video. In it, you see a girl hammering a nail using one of their LiDAR sensors. That's a pretty wide demo. But in today's video, I'll be testing this scanner in a completely different way. When you're mounting the LiDAR unit onto the handle, make sure to push it in firmly until you hear both latches click into place. They have even added a warning here. Both latches need to be fully engaged. To power it on, just hold the button for 3 seconds, and it's the same process to turn it off. So each time you switch on the scanner, the LiDAR sensor will turn on right along with it. To link your phone with the scanner, just connect to the scanner's Wi-Fi hotspot. On their mobile app, My Cloud Go, just tap Connect Device and you'll be ready to start scanning right away. After you finish a scan session, you can transfer the data to your PC using a USB-C cable. Just plug it into this port. The transfer speed is seriously fast, over 200 megabytes per second. The unit I've got comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage and is not expandable. It weighs in at 1,250 grams, making it heavier than the SHARE S20, the C1, and the FJD Trion P2. The Pocket 2 is equipped with 3 2-megapixel RGB cameras, all working together to generate the colorized point cloud. All 3 cameras deliver through a 2-megapixel output, and the photo quality is pretty decent. The scanner also comes with 2 USB-C extension ports designed for RTK and a panorama camera module. I don't have any details yet about those additional modules. The included phone mount works fine even with larger phones, and it attached to the scanner via the hot shoe interface. There is also an extra extension port at the front designed for a high-resolution camera module. There is an exhaust port here, and the cooling fan only kicks in once the temperature reaches a certain threshold, so most of the time it runs quietly. There is also a 1/4-inch thread screw at the bottom, along with a marking for control point collection. On the battery interface, you find a rubber feet allowing the scanner to be securely attached to other devices. There is a charging port built into the battery grip, but the scanner itself doesn't come with a charger. The scanner's main body is made from die-cast aluminum, and the same goes for the camera mount. It feels sturdy and well built. Welcome back to the most scanned house in the world. I have captured this place more than 50 times over the past 5 years, and it makes a perfect scenario for benchmarking a LiDAR scanner. This is their new mobile app. They rolled it out just yesterday, and another update came out this morning. I found it worked best in FPV mode, with the scan photo option turned on. The screen is harder to see outdoors compared to other LiDAR units I've tested, and the trajectory lines shown in white look a bit unsmooth. The FOV on the previous screen isn't adjustable, but you can still orbit around. The screen displays both translation and rotation speed, along with the travel distance, elapsed time, and the number of point clouds scanned. I almost forgot to mention the price. Manifold Tech told me they haven't set it yet, but they assure me it will be very competitive compared to other scanners on the market. For anyone who interested, I will include Manifold Tech's contact email down in the description. When I make a review video, I never ask for compensation from the manufacturer or request to keep the review sample. I produce this video for free. My goal is to show you whether this device actually delivers and whether it deserves your hard-earned money. From the previous screen, the floors appear parallel to each other. This is the desktop software for point cloud mapping called MyCloud Studio. You have the option to enable loop closure and moving object removal. During processing, CPU usage runs at 100%. Here's the scan result in Cloud Compare. The colorized point cloud looks decent with low noise. I can still see a faint seam line on the ceiling board, though it's not as clear as on the S20. The measurement results, however, are quite accurate. For comparison, I will place the SHARE S20 scan data on the left. The Pocket 2's colors appear noticeably darker. Let's check the wall cross-section on the third floor. The wall lines appear parallel across the floor, and the rotational drift is low, comparable to SHARE C1 and S20. In fact, it performs better than the FJD Trion P2 in this test. On the second floor, the wall lines also appear parallel, but they are noticeably thicker than those from the SHARE S20. In this corner, the wall line appears thinner than its actual size. This is the first error I have noticed on the Pocket 2. The S20 doesn't show this error. The rest of the wall lines are measured correctly. All three floors are very parallel to one another, both along the length and the width of the building. The Pocket 2 successfully passed the 3-story house scanning test, showing low drift and consistent floor levels. Next, I run an accuracy test by measuring a known distance of 30 meters. These house blocks are made from precast concrete, each with a fixed width of 5 meters. Even a deviation of a few millimeters would prevent the wall panels from fitting properly. I will measure the length across 6 blocks, which should read exactly 30 meters. The measurement reads 30.091 meters, which is 91 millimeters longer than expected. I tried the measurement again and it still reads 30.091 meters. That's an accuracy error of 91 millimeters, which is too high. By comparison, the SHARE S20 and Trion P2 show only about 3 millimeters of error, while the SHARE C1 comes in at 9 millimeters. This level of accuracy isn't suitable for construction surveying. A 9 cm error over 30 meters is extremely high for a SLAM LiDAR scanner. Let's compare the color point clouds. On the left is the SHARE C1 and on the right is the Pocket 2. Now on the left we have the SHARE S20. And finally we have the FJD Trion P2. Next, I will run a long outdoor scanning test covering over 1,200 meters of travel distance. The scan took 24 minutes to complete. The outside temperature was 40 degrees Celsius, yet the scanner ran smoothly without any issue or hiccups during the test. Here is the point cloud result. It took only 29 minutes to process, which is comparable to the FJD Trion P2 and faster than the SHARE LiDAR scanner. I can clearly read the signage and the colorized point cloud quality looks decent. If you don't look closely, it's hard to notice any irregularities. Here's the first irregularity I found. I passed to this point twice, so the SLAM algorithm should have detected it and closed the loop. But the ground level doesn't line up. The SLAM algorithm failed to correct the drifting error at this point. The discrepancy in the load level is more than 10 centimeters. This is both the starting and ending point of the scan, and the discrepancy here is even larger than before. There is ghosting visible on the signage and the power line pole. The truck's tail shows a double wall. The drifting error here is around 30 centimeters, and the SLAM algorithm fails to close the loop. I also ran the same test with the SHARE S20, C1 and FJD Trion P2 using SLAM, and none of them failed to close the loop or show double wall ghosting like this. I previously scanned this apartment with the SHARE S20. Now let's see if the Pocket 2 can handle this narrow space without drifting. I have repeated the same movement and walk at the same speed. Since my new tenant is moving in this afternoon, I still have some time to run the test. The preview screen on the mobile app could still use some improvement. At times, it's difficult to distinguish what has already been scanned or what hasn't. For comparison, I also scanned this apartment with the SHARE C1. Here is the Pocket 2 scan result. The bathroom appears slightly tilted and the wall isn't parallel to the bedroom wall. As you can see, there is a noticeable gap on the right hand side. The wall between the two bedrooms is also not parallel. And here is the result from the C1. The bathroom wall is parallel. The wall between the bedrooms is parallel and it appears thinner. Here is the cropped color point cloud comparison. On the right is the C1 and on the left is the Pocket 2. The C1 produces thinner wall lines in the point cloud and brighter color overall. That's beneficial since I prefer running black backgrounds in my CAD software. It gives stronger contrast. In this small room test, the Pocket 2 shows rotational drift errors in both the bathroom and the bedroom, while the C1 produces no noticeable drift, similar to the performance of the S20. Back on the same fire escape staircase, I walk down 7 floors and then back up to close the loop. Now let's see how the Pocket 2 stacks up against its competitors. It's around 40 degrees Celsius here in Thailand, summer heat. And walking up and down the stairs like this can easily lead to a heat exhaustion. Here's the Pocket 2 staircase scanned, covering all 7 floors. The staircase looks straight but not as cleanly straight as with the SHARE S20 or the C1. On some floors, the staircase walls show slight deviation. The stair steps including rise and run appear normal. Let's check the drifting alert. You can see the 17B signage. The letters have shifted, showing clear evidence of drifting alert. The SLAM algorithm was unable to fully close the loop. At the starting point, the floors don't line up properly. It creates about a 2 cm gap, which matches the amount of color shift deviation. It's a bit better on the 16th. The signage becomes sharper as you move downward. The Pocket 2 doesn't perform as well as its competitors in the staircase scanning test. Here is the car parking test. The area measures 80 meters in length and 35 meters in width. I'll be scanning 3.5 floors, which adds up to about 8,000 square meters of coverage. When scanning a car parking building, you often have to walk in a spiral. This movement is problematic for SLAM algorithms, because when scanning across multiple floors and looping back, you end up with only a single loop. Most car park buildings have low elevation, usually around 2 meters. When turning on the lamp, the scanner detects a very long driveway ahead. The high ratio between driveway length and ceiling height can introduce rotational drift. I recommend that when scanning a car parking building, you limit the path to 1 floor up and 1 floor down, then loop back. Don't go beyond that. The total travel distance should stay under 300 meters. A spiral lamp behaves like a straight load, and scanning a long straight load in a single loop will cause vertical drift. I didn't expect the Pocket 2 to handle 6 levels of car parking without drift, but sometimes you only know by trying. When you exit the lamp and make a turn, the scanner sees a very long driveway ahead, but the ceiling height is only 2 meters. Every time you exit the lamp and make a corner, a large elevation drift alert will appear. That's why I recommend breaking the scan into 1 floor up and 1 floor down. In this scenario, I should make 3 separate scans. By keeping the loop smaller, it becomes easier for the SLAM algorithm to correct drift. Now I'm returning to the starting point to close the loop. Here's the result from the Pocket 2. I can immediately notice some irregularities. It even looks like parts of the floor are missing entirely. Here's the scan from the SHARE C1, taken right after the Pocket 2. All 6 parking levels are present, even though the floor alignment isn't perfectly level. In the Pocket 2 scan, the floors are heavily drifted. Upper levels collapse into lower ones, and even cars from the floor above appear to fall down into the level below. This is my first review and testing of a new SLAM LiDAR contender, the Manifold Tech Pocket 2. I understand they are just starting out. The product hasn't officially launched yet. There's still time to refine the SLAM algorithm and improve accuracy, which currently lags behind other competitors. It's crucial that these problems are addressed before launch. Releasing early and misleading customers set false expectations, which can severely harm trust. We have seen examples in the industry where premature release create disappointment rather than confidence. Once the issues are fixed and I still have the review sample, I will revisit it for another test. Thanks you guys for watching. I see you in the next video.